Presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders is in his neighboring state of Massachusetts, here at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, stumping for votes. He's got a lot of work to do ahead of a South Carolina primary, but he's trying to establish a strong ground game in other states as well. Let's listen in.
We have here who are standing up, who are saying enough is enough, who are saying that our government belongs to all of us, not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors. That is what this campaign is about. So, People's Politics, thank you so much for your support. Let me also thank the International Association of Iron Workers, Local 7, for allowing us to use this facility. I believe in the trade union movement. After 25 years in the Congress, I have a 98% pro-union voting record, and I was right on that 2%. And I believe the middle class of this country is not going to grow, and it's not going to do better unless we strengthen and grow the American trade union movement. We've got legislation in to do just that. Now, our campaign has come a very long way in the last 9 months. When we began this campaign, we were considered to be a fringe campaign. We had no money, no political organization, and outside of Vermont, very little name recognition. A lot has changed in the last 9 months. And in fact, what we have seen in state after state, where we were way behind. We were behind by 50 points in Iowa. We were behind 30 points in New Hampshire. We were behind 25 points a month ago in Nevada. Well, we ended up doing a lot better than people thought we could do, and we will continue to do a lot better than people think we will do. We think that right here in the great state of Massachusetts, we've got a real chance to win on Super Tuesday, and we think we're going to win some other states as well. Now, let me just say a few words picking up on what Elena has said about some of the important issues facing this country. And what I intend to do over the next number of weeks is kind of contrast my record to Secretary Clinton's. And I have to say that I am delighted that Secretary Clinton, month after month after month, seems to be adopting more and more of the positions that we have advocated. That's good. And in fact, is beginning to use a lot of the language and phraseology that we have used. In fact, I think I saw a TV ad. I thought it was me, but it turned out it was Secretary Clinton's picture in the ad. But the people of Massachusetts and the people of the United States need to know the difference between hastily adopted campaign rhetoric and the real record and the long-held ideas of the candidates. And let me begin. There are a lot of issues out there that I could talk about. Let me begin by talking about two, and I know I talk for everybody up here on the stage who are involved in people's politics. Number one, let us be very clear. Today, the campaign finance system in the United States of America is a corrupt system. It is undermining American democracy, and it needs to be fundamentally changed. What American democracy means to me and to the vast majority of the American people, progressives, conservatives, and moderates, is one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections through super PACs. And here is the truth, and a very profound difference between Secretary Clinton and myself. Secretary Clinton has a number of super PACs which today are raising very, very large sums of money from Wall Street and other powerful special interests. In fact, as I understand it, her major super PAC, Priorities USA, raised $25 million during the last reporting period from special interest, including $15 million from Wall Street. Now, I know that every candidate who has ever received special interest money always says that the millions and millions of dollars they receive will never influence them. Never, never, never. And that is what every candidate who has received special interest money always says. Well, the American people need to ask a very simple question. If these contributions from Wall Street and other powerful special interests have no influence over the candidate, why are these special interests making huge campaign contributions? Simple question. Now, maybe they're dummies, and maybe they just think they could throw millions of dollars at a candidate and expect to get nothing from that. Maybe. I doubt that very much. These guys are many things. Dummies, they are not. And I also want to mention that when the campaign began, as I recall, Secretary Clinton and her people were saying, well, yes, we have super PACs, but that money is going to be used against Republicans. Well, guess what? Turns out not to be the case. Millions of dollars in super PAC money is now being used against me. Now, in contrast to the way Secretary Clinton is raising money, I am extremely proud and extremely gratified that we are raising our campaign funds in a very, very different way. We don't have a super PAC. We don't want a super PAC. We don't want money from Wall Street, from the drug companies, or from anybody else. What we have done is ask the American people who want to see real change in this country contribute to our campaign. And I know that many people in the working class, middle class, don't have a whole lot of money. And I am blown away by the fact that since we began this campaign 9 months ago, we have received over 4 million individual contributions. From more than 1.5 million people, and the average contribution is $27. $27. So you got one candidate in the last reporting period raising $15 million from Wall Street. We have received 4 million individual contributions, averaging $27 apiece. And to the best of my knowledge, this is more individual contributions than any candidate in American history has received up until this point in a campaign. That's issue number one that I wanted to mention today. And I think it says a lot about how you govern, what you do as president, when you think about how you raise your contributions. Second issue, and I know the iron workers, among many others up here, are concerned about. Not a sexy issue, not an issue that television discusses almost at all, but that is the fact that our disastrous trade policies, going way back to NAFTA, have cost this country millions of decent-paying jobs. Since 2001, we have seen the loss of some 60,000 factories in America where workers were earning decent wages and decent benefits. Now, when I got into Congress in 1991, I heard about NAFTA. And it didn't take me long to understand that NAFTA and ensuing trade policies which were written by corporate America, were written for one simple reason. And that is, corporate America was saying, why should I have to pay workers in the United States 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, provide benefits, and have to obey environmental regulations when I can shut down in America, move to Mexico, move to China, move to other low-wage countries, pay workers there pennies an hour, and then I bring my product back into this country. That's what those pieces of legislation were about. I'm talking about NAFTA, CAFTA, permanent normal trade relations with China and others. That's what these trade policies were written for. That is what has happened. We have lost millions of decent paying jobs which have ravaged community after community after community all over this country. The average American who walks into a store now finds it harder and harder to purchase products made in America, and often the only alternative is made in China or someplace else. Now, on that issue, I voted against NAFTA, against CAFTA, against permanent normal trade relations with China, and I am helping to lead the opposition to the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I have a radical idea that corporations who every night on TV advertise and they tell us, buy this product, buy that product, that maybe they should start manufacturing those products in our country, creating jobs in this country rather than in other countries around the world. I have the radical idea that maybe instead of having unfettered free trade, we should have fair trade, protecting workers in this country and poor people abroad. Now, Secretary Clinton supported, she didn't vote for it, she wasn't in the Senate, she supported NAFTA, she supported permanent normal trade relations with China. Now, I am glad that after having initially indicated support for the TPP, she changed her mind and, in fact, has voiced opposition to it. But interestingly enough, knowing her record on trade, the head of the Chamber of Commerce, Tom Donahue, and you all know the Chamber of Commerce is one of the major business organizations in this country, very strongly supportive of all of these trade agreements. This is what he has said. He has said that he believes that Hillary Clinton would ultimately support the TPP if she becomes the Democratic nominee for president and is elected. And I'm quoting from Inside U.S. Trade. And I continue. Donahue argued that she has publicly opposed the deal chiefly because her main challenger, Senator Bernie Sanders, has also done so. Quote, if she were to get nominated, if she were to be elected, I have a hunch that what runs in the family is you get a little practical if you ever get the job, end of quote, he said. In other words, one of the most powerful business leaders in this country believes that if Hillary Clinton were elected president, she in fact would end up supporting the TPP. Let me tell the Chamber of Commerce, I am elected president. I will not support the TPP. There are a lot of differences of opinion between Secretary Clinton and myself on some major issues. These are two of them. But at the end of the day, this is the biggest difference. As Elena understands, and as everybody up on the stage understands, what we are seeing is more and more power going into the hands of the few. We are seeing that politically, where billionaires are now spending hundreds of millions of dollars to elect the candidates of their choice. We're seeing this economically, where a handful of people on Wall Street have power beyond belief and are shaping the economy so that it works for the 1%, but not for the bottom 90%. And what the American people have got to determine is which candidate whose life work is about standing up to the billionaire class, standing up to Wall Street, standing up to corporate interests, and who does not. That's what this campaign is essentially about. So I thank everybody for being here, and in the coming weeks we are going to continue to contrast our point of view with Secretary Clinton's on a number of issues. We have time for a few questions. We've got to get running to Amherst for a rally. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
All right, leaving Bernie Sanders' campaign event in Massachusetts for a TED